Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about me personally and what I've been doing. For those of you that follow me, you know that I have a lot to do in Chicago. I have been raised in Chicago my whole life. Chicago is my baby. And there's a lot of TV and radio and police and one-on-one, sessions in my Oak Brook office. And honestly, I couldn't be more grateful to each and every one of you for that. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, because truly I do love what I do. Because if I can help somebody reach any decision, conclusion, make contact with loved ones, just kind of figure out the puzzle pieces, find missing people, that's me. That's who I am. And that's never going to change. But I also wanted to tell you, for a long time, my husband, when he was a boy, he lived in Arizona, and he always wanted to go back and live there. And I wouldn't have any of it. I never been to Arizona, but one day he decided that, how about we just go and take a look at it? And he says, and if you don't like it, I'll never mention it again. But why don't you go see if you like it? So I agreed, and we went for 4 days, and it was a marvelous experience, just truly marvelous. And the experience was probably very profound, and I always talk about our guides and our angels. So when we had gotten to Arizona, I said to my husband, okay, we're here for 4 days, and do me a favor, don't keep bugging me to see, do you like it? What do you think of it so far? Just let me take it in and let me do what I want to do. And let me just see how I feel. He goes, fair enough. I go, at the end of the trip, then you can ask me what I think of it. He goes, fair enough, okay. So interesting, we rented a car and we get to our hotel room, and right before the entrance of the hotel, there's like this big white feather in front of me. And I'm like, God, that's such a pretty feather. It's not every day you see that size feather. And I thought, so I didn't say anything. So we got the keys to our hotel room, and Lord, again, there is another feather. I said, what is with the feathers here? So my husband says, what do you think this means? I says, well, I think my angels are trying to tell me something. Still didn't have a clue to what they meant. So, we enjoyed, we kept looking around Arizona, went to different places. The second day we went to a breakfast place in Scottsdale. And, it was really nice because you got to sit outside and we faced the main street. And I really enjoyed it there. So, we went to so many places, but I really enjoyed having breakfast there. So now it's the 4th day and the final day. And my husband says, well, we've got to take the car back and we have to go to the airport. So why don't we stop and get something to eat? Because you know what? By the time we get back to Chicago, it's going to be late and you're not going to have anything to eat. And I said, all right. He goes, where do you want to go? I go, how about that breakfast place that we went to? And he goes, sure, let's go. Now, we loved sitting outside. So when we got there, there was about literally 20 people in front of us with only one table outside. So my husband says, forget it. We're never going to get the table outside. Get whatever you can. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I said, okay. So I see this tall blonde hostess, and she's sitting people back and forth. And I've got my eye on this table, and I'm wondering, why isn't anybody taking this table? It's not that it was 110 degrees at the time we were there. It was about 80 degrees, and it was beautiful. The weather was just gorgeous. But yet, nobody's going to that table. So now it's getting closer for me to sit down. My husband's still in the washroom. And this cute little brunette hostess, she could be my daughter, and she came over and she goes, how many? And I said, 2. And she goes, okay. I says, is there any chance we can get that table over there? She says, I don't see why not. She gave me a wink, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, okay. So I follow her to the table. My husband now comes out of the bathroom, and he's figuring there's no way we're going to get the table, so he's looking for me inside the restaurant. He's not seeing me, so I do this. I'm out here. He looks at me like, how'd you get the table? So I told him. He goes, are you kidding? I'm like, yeah. He goes, for sure, I never thought we got the table. So we're sitting down. We ordered breakfast. We ate our breakfast. We're enjoying the outside, not wanting to come back because we enjoyed the weather there so much. My husband says, okay. The end of the trip, I wanted to be respectful and I wasn't going to ask you, but now, what did you think of it? I said, honestly, I'm just listening. And all of a sudden, before I even ask the question or answer it, I see this young kid across the street. And he's got one of these big signs. And you know how they flip the signs? And he's flipping it like it's pizza dough. And I stopped talking to my husband. I'm looking and go, look at the talent this kid's got, the way he's flipping the sign. He goes, yeah, he is flipping it good. So as he's flipping the sign, my husband says, all right, so what's your answer? And I said, I actually like it here. He goes, really? You're kidding. I said, no, I like it here. There's a certain peace that comes over me. I like it. And I didn't think I would, but I do. I could live here. He goes, really? Because he's always wanted to go back there and live there. So he says, that's it then. We're going to make the decision to live here. I said, yeah. So all of a sudden, the kid who's flipping the sign stops flipping the sign. And on the sign, it says, you should live here. And it's got little print, fine print of Remax on the bottom. But the sign had, you should live here. My husband looked at me. I looked at my husband. He goes, wild. A sign on top of a sign. Okay, now this is where it gets really something. I said to my husband, I want to tip the hostess because she was so kind to give us this table. So he goes, okay. So I'm now looking for her and I can't find her. So the tall blonde who was seating most of the people, I said, excuse me, where's the little cute brunette girl, the young girl? And I said, she was so kind that she got us this table. And she looked at me and she goes, what? I go, the short brunette girl. She goes, I'm it. I go, no, the short brunette girl, the young girl. She was also a hostess. She goes, there is no other hostess. I'm it. My husband looked at me and I says, and she was getting very adamant because she's thinking, come on, lady, you're not going to tell me that there's somebody else here. There is nobody here. I'm it, she said to me. I said, okay. I just was very dumbfounded. And on top of the napkin dispenser is another feather. Now I'm looking at the feather. I said to my husband, oh my God, I know what this is. And he goes, what? I go, well, first of all, you've got to believe me. There was a short brunette girl that sat me at this table. He goes, I believe you, Susan. I said, all the feathers that I was finding, and then I lifted the feather that I had. I said, this was my angel leading me to this table for me to see the vision of this boy flipping the sign and seeing, you should live here. My angels were directing me to the T, to the moment of everything. Everything was in correlation to what I needed. Now, who is this hostess? An angel. In human form. I truly believe in that. And she was directing me. She was the one seating me that didn't exist to anybody else, and only I saw her. For me to see that sign on top of a sign that you should live here. And by the way, from the time I got there, from the hotel all the way to the day that we were leaving, I'm seeing white feathers. So it's quite interesting. So it brings me to the next thing I want to talk about. I do live now in Arizona and I work in Chicago. So I still have my office in Oak Brook. I'm very much active in Illinois. I come in every 2 weeks and I live in Arizona every 2 weeks. So I split my time up between both states and I am now servicing both states. And I cannot say how happy. It's beautiful there. Just as much as the beauty that Chicago represents me. You know, as much as I love Arizona and I love the peace, when I come back to Chicago, I get geared up and I get excited because Chicago will always be my baby, okay? Trust me, guys, I will never leave Chicago. But I did want to add the story that I am living in Arizona and I am now managing 2 states, and the story of why I moved. Because it was my dear Travis, my producer, who told me, share your story. It's time. And it's a beautiful story. And I'm doing that. So because of you, Travis, I'm doing it. And I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to say thank you to the best producer in the whole world, because without him, you would not see any of me in this light. So Travis, I'm indebted to you. I want to say thank you to my husband, who makes it all possible, that allows me to come to Chicago as often as I do and doesn't get angry at me. And I just want to thank most of all of you, because it's why I do what I do. And you are all the reason that I do it. So whether you see me in Arizona, whether you see me in Illinois, whether you want to do a phone session that you can book through the website or through my Facebook app, you can always get a hold of me. So continue, please tune in to YouTube and to Facebook. You will always see events that what we're doing. Follow me in Chicago. You can follow me in Arizona, and you can follow me in many other states, because I have a lot of people in different countries that follow me as well, and I thank all of you for that. So from me to you, I love you to pieces, and let's see where this journey keeps taking us. Until then, all the best. Love you to pieces. Bye-bye.